Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Empire Secrets. I'm your host, Mariana Henninger. When you listen to this episode, I am still going to be in Paris, which is so fun. I'm going to be roaming the streets, eating Bertillon ice cream from Ile Saint Louis, trying not to regain all the weight that I've kind of tried to lose over the last couple weeks. I've been so good about going to the gym and watching what I eat. I feel like I'm on the ultimate, women in her 40s diet where it's so much protein, not a ton of carbs. I'm watching everything, but it also feels really, really good. I was chatting with my friend who I communicate with on a daily basis on WhatsApp messages. It feels like we have a podcast going between both of us. And I was telling Vanessa how good it felt to really prioritize my health. And I know that sounds so cliche, and that's why all the millionaires do all the biohacking, but it truly feels good to prioritize going to the gym. I've been going probably like a good average of like 5 days a week, but I want to even up it to six. I want to take Saturdays off, and the rest of the days I don't want to take off. And the reality is that I noticed that I have absolutely zero excuses not to go to the gym or not to get a workout at home. Like I have weights at home. I don't have like a personal gym at home, but I have weights at home. I also have this gym that is just honestly like 5 minutes from my house. It is so nice. It's so clean. People there are super friendly. It's not a cringe gym full of like, I don't know, really bulky bros who stare at your butt. It is a really nice environment that I love going to. And I feel great afterwards. I actually enjoy working out. I'm one of those weird people. So I realized that I don't have any excuses not to go to the gym, not to watch what I eat. I have access to really good, healthy food that is low carb, that's low sugar, that is full of nutrition. I have access to fresh food. And so this is my new era, you guys, where I am actively taking charge, taking control of my health. I was listening to a podcast episode not too long ago by Heather Sager. It was an old episode, so I can't even remember. Like it was from a few years ago. I was going through her YouTube content and watching a couple things. And something that she said that really, really stuck with me. And it's crazy how sometimes you hear things and you have to hear them more than once in order for them to really stick. And this thing was that she said, you have to watch yourself. You have to rewatch when you speak. Watch the recording, critique yourself. And if you don't do that, don't gripe about not getting the results. She's like, don't gripe about people not following you. Don't gripe about not building your email list. Don't gripe about not converting from stage. And it's so true. It's so hard to watch yourself. It does remind me of Dan Henry, who I think is a really smart marketer. He has a lot of things in his personal life which I think are interesting or don't align with my values, but he is a really good marketer. And that's something that he talks about over and over that he did in the beginning of his marketing days when he decided to really become good at it, was that he would watch himself and he would critique himself all the time. He would take notes and critique himself so that when he spoke again, he wouldn't make the same mistakes. And so what Heather said really made me think about my own health and how I look. And the fact that I'm looking at my closet now and because the door's open, and I'm like, I know I have pants in there that I don't fit into anymore, and it's my fault. It is my fault. And yes, my body changes over time, but it really is up to me to take charge of my health. So that was a very long intro into today's podcast episode, which I want to talk about the business system. And it might sound like an episode for more beginners, but I promise you that sometimes like listening to the most foundational stuff is really, really important. Like going back to the basics of your business. And that's what I want to talk about today. Like, what are the things that make an unstoppable business? What are the things that absolutely will make you succeed in business? And really thinking through what you have right now as an established business owner, what are the things that might not be perfectly aligned with this model? And do you need to make some shifts? The first thing that we need to make sure is right is our offer. And I know that Some of us have successful businesses when our offer wasn't crafted in the best way. What I mean by that is like I can't wrap my head around how many times I have encountered someone who has what seems like a successful business, but none of the systems are in place where they're just kind of winging it. They're struggling, they're shuffling, like there's a lot of things that just happen to work for a while, but it's not a sustainable way to grow a business. So, first off, when we think of creating an offer or the offer that we already have, we have to make sure that it's something that the market actually wants. And most importantly, we have to make sure that it solves a problem. I was in this coaching call and the coach kept asking everyone in the group, like, what is the problem that you solve? And I can't tell you how many people did not answer with a problem. What they answered with was desired result or with this is what I help them with, but without really pinpointing the problem. It has to be a problem. The other thing that comes to mind was I met the founder of the Hulken bag. I don't know if you're familiar with the Hulken bag. It's really popular here in New York. It's basically think of a an upright kind of rectangle shopping bag on wheels with big handles that you can basically scroll or scroll. You can carry this bag on wheels very easily. I love that their entire marketing is all about like, this is for the person who schleps. So it's a lot of schlep. I wear the schlep hat every once in a while. If you're on my email, you would have seen me wearing the schlep hat. And she recently wrote a post in her Instagram. It was about what's needed to create a successful business. In fact, like I don't believe had any investors. And before she hired anyone to help her in this business, she was profitable. So she wanted to be profitable right away. And which is so different from how a lot of products are released, right? Or a lot of businesses where they start with the investor money, they start with money from outside, and then they make their way towards sales. And a lot of times, like, you have to spend the money, and so you work on hiring a lot of people. Anyway, she did things very differently for this business. I think this is, like, her 3rd or 4th startup, and Hulken is wildly successful. And the thing that she says is, like, "I listened to people, and this is a problem. People needed an easier way to carry stuff around. I want you to be engrossed and completely obsessed with the problem that you solve because having the solution to the problem that they actually care about. It has to be a problem that actually pains them. You want to get them out of the hell that they're in right now into the heaven. Second part of this is knowing how to communicate that offer in a way that makes them care. So oftentimes the market hasn't figured out how to show, or people haven't figured out how to show the market that they care about this problem. And if people don't want to buy it, your enthusiasm for the business will die. A lot of people get away from low ticket for that reason. You want to focus on how do I communicate this offer in a way that actually makes people want to buy it. And this is obviously where copy comes in. This is where your brand video comes in, where we're not talking about your offer, but we're making people feel aligned with the founder, making people feel like the founder truly knows them, cares about them, gets them deeply, aligns with them, all of that, all the 4 trust triggers, and is an expert at this and has got them, right? So people need to feel a sigh of relief when you have come with the perfect solution. It has to be like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life? That's how people need to feel when they hear your offer and be able to communicate it in a way that they quickly understand what it is and that they're like, "Oh my gosh, I must have this." And then the third component of a great offer is that you actually do have to like it, you know? And can you imagine if you were dating somebody that you didn't like? There's like they were a good person, there was a good market fit, you were solving the problem really well, the copy was doing its job and you were able to sell it well, but if you didn't actually like the thing that you were selling, it's not going to last very long. We wanna be able to sell an offer that actually we love. And this is where, a couple episodes ago when I was talking with Karin Gillen, we were talking about alignment in your business and how important it is to have not only, the offer itself, but the type of offer. right? Making sure that the way that we're building our business is in a way that we love our business. We love what we get to do, and we happen to get paid for it. That's how I look at my business, and that's why I think every entrepreneur needs to look at their business. It should be lighting you on fire to be able to deliver on that offer. Like, you cannot wait. So I'm just going to give you a quick behind the scenes. I just had a bonus session with my brand video accelerator students that I announced to them yesterday. And I said, hey guys, bonus session tomorrow. I'm going to show you how to simplify your filmmaking so that you can actually get your footage done in the next 2 weeks. All we have to film are 5 scenes, and I want you to be able to get this done in 5 weeks. So we had this whole session. Almost everybody showed up. It was amazing. I love how they show up at the drop of a hat. And all the other sessions are booked, by the way. This was just like a bonus session that I was like, I have time to film this or to do this with them. And I am so excited to look at their footage. I cannot wait until they give me footage to look at so I can give them feedback. And so it lights me on fire to be able to do that. And I think every business should be like that. And, in the future, I might not be the one giving feedback on all their shots, and that's okay. But I love what I get to do. I love it. So the core of my offer is results oriented. What am I going to love doing so much that I can do for a very long time? That's another question. It should not be unsustainable. And then what could you add or subtract or outsource about your offer that doesn't, to make it so that it completely lights you up, right? You want to get rid of the things that are not working for you. So with that, that's your offer. Part two is that once you have that offer that solves a very specific and important problem that your marketplace knows it has, you are able to communicate it in a way that they understand very quickly they must have this thing. And three, you love it too. Once you have that in place, here's part two. Part two is that you need to make sure that your online presence actually shows people that you are an authority in this area. So you need a website that really speaks your authority. You need a website that makes people feel something. You need to have the funnels that really speak their language. You need to step into who you want to be that helps them get there faster. So people will take you more seriously when you have that branding in place, when you realize that you're in a place of legitimacy. You have to have a brand that really makes people respect you, that makes people stop and pay attention to you. And that kind of shows up in everything you do in your content, on your website, on the way that you dress, on the way that you show up on stage, on how you speak. So all of these things play a role in helping people understand that you are the go-to, you are the expert in this field. Because it's not just about your offer, it's also about how you represent that in the marketplace in a way that's very, very effective. The second part of part two is you don't want to be tied to the business in the sense that it only works when you do. You want to be able to have a business that brings you money even when you're not showing up, even when you're on vacation, even when you are with your family, even when you are sick and you're in bed and you're not able to show up. You don't want a business that only works when you do. And so this is where teams and automation comes in. This is where you want that Stripe notification to show people bought your $1,000 course or your $2,000-$3,000 program when you're not actually even there in person selling it, when you're not in a launch. You need a sales process that's automated. And a lot of this is funnels. A lot of this is knowing how to build that evergreen system online, how to guide people from the moment they meet you and they watch your brand video and they're connected to you, they're paying attention, they're a lot closer to buying from you. And then you have that offer ready for them. Maybe you have a low ticket offer first and they graduate into a higher ticket offer because you're nurturing them. The second thing is all about the rooms that you're in. It's about the people that you're meeting and that you're connecting with and that you are JV partnering with. Not only will those rooms help you get ahead, but they'll also give you the encouragement to keep going. They will be places where you can share ideas and learn a lot from other people's ideas. You'll get enthusiasm, you get inspiration. Like, you need to be around people who are your people, who are helping you think bigger. It is so important to be around people who are doing bigger things, who are thinking bigger, who are showing you it's possible. And I love this feeling of being around people who are way ahead of me and then going back and being like, why haven't I done this yet? Why haven't I grown to that amount? Like, let's do it. Let's get the show on the road. I know I can do this. It's so much better to be around people and actually experience their level versus just like reading about it in a book. So, or even hearing about it on a podcast. So, you really start to build the manifestation of the identity of who you already are. Really, I like come into the reality of the thing that you know you want to be. The other place to do this is obviously in real life events. I heard this really interesting metaphor that going to an in real life event is kind of like the difference between going to a concert versus listening to a song in your earbuds. Like when you go to a concert, you experience it, you feel it. Like there's something completely memorable about it versus just listening to a song in your earbuds where it's like, it's nice. It's nice. So I hope that you have heard about these sort of foundational business things that I've really come to think about having been in business for like 2.5 years and really going back to the basics and being like, are all these things in place? Like, what is my bigger roadmap? I really feel like this is the moment that I'm in right now where I'm getting ready to expand in a very big way. And so it's like God is pointing me to things that are like, remember the basics. Remember the basics. Do not overcomplicate as you grow. And I hope this is encouraging for you as you continue to grow your business and scale, that you will keep these very fundamental things in mind. You need something that truly solves a problem. You need to know how to communicate it really well. You need to be in love with that thing. You need to have branding that communicates your authority, that gets people to stop and respect you and pay attention to you. And then you need to be in the right rooms. You need to strive to show up and to meet and to follow up. So important to follow up with your people to make sure that you're staying top of mind, to provide value, to like share an article that you came across, like, hey, I thought about you for this. Hey, you want to come on my podcast? Hey, do you want to do this thing together? Like, hey, I thought this could be, you should meet this person. They're great. They would be awesome for you. Always be thinking about how you can provide value to people who lift you up, to people who should be thinking about you or that you want them to be thinking about you. And always coming to serve. So important. Always coming with a servant spirit, putting yourself as a servant of others. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Empire Secrets. I am so delighted to have you on the show or to have you listening to the show, sorry. And I hope to catch you on the next episode of Empire Secrets. Bye for now.